can remedy it.
I just did it.
The I ams, the I have.
I just did it. The process I just did with you, connect to source. And I gave it to you earlier. Stand in front of the mirror and say, I love you. I have more time than I need. So let's talk a little bit about loftier questions. So what if, all through the day, you were to say to yourself, how come I have more time than I know what to do with? What if you said that? Try it. Say it. I have more time than I know what to do with. It's kind of foreign, isn't it? Or I have more money than I can possibly spend in this lifetime. I have more money than I can possibly spend in this lifetime. Doesn't that feel different? It totally feels different. I don't need to sell anything. All I have to do is pick up the phone and talk to people because they want what I have, because I'm a solution to their problem. That's right. What you're seeking seeks you. And it's in the power of your self-talk that either allows you to receive that or puts up the block. So instead of saying, I can't leave my office, or I have to do it all myself, if you were to say, the people that I have are more than capable, and they show up and do even a better job than I asked for. Because at the end of the day, it's whatever we language. Language is so powerful. Your words create your reality. So I have this exercise that I do. And so my exercise that I do is that wherever I go, all I have to do is walk through the door and people seek me out. And they come to me. And so I can go to a party, I can go to a restaurant. Like last night, I decided that what I was going to do after work. So here's what I want you to think about. So whatever patterns, whatever habits you have in your life, those are the results you're getting in your world. So for example, so for me, fitness is like super high priority on my list. It's like, it's the end all be all to my world. I make sure that I work out every day, 5 to 6 days a week. And so I like that part of my life, I like to be routine because it sets the tone for the rest of my routine, right? So the way I've had my days structured is, I get up at 5, do my connecting with source, align myself, and then deal with European clients usually between 6:30 and 9:30 because of the time change, right? Then take a break, and then I jump on the local time. And then in the evening, to unplug, I'll go to the gym. So it's a great routine in terms of giving me the fitness results I want and the business results I want. However, my life was lacking in social. So I decided to shift it up. So 1 or 2 nights a week, I change it. Instead of going to the gym after work, I go and do something social. I take myself out, have dinner somewhere, and just connect with new people. Because it works when I travel. Like when I go to Europe, I travel alone, I go for work, and I'll just walk into a restaurant and just meet new people. Or I'll just walk into a nightclub and just meet new people. And it's really cool. The thing is that at home, I wasn't doing it. So see how habit creates, right? So last night was one of my adventures. So I go to this restaurant and they have a bar and I'm sitting at the bar and I'm having dinner and I met like 8 new people because they all had to come to the bar to get their drinks. And the seat next to me was empty, so they came to that spot and we struck up a conversation. So I probably have like 7 or 8 new clients just in a 90-minute stretch by changing up a habit. It was a lot of fun. So these are the things that you need to consider shifting. Are the routines, yes, they're good on one level, but how are they blocking you on another level? And what could you do to mix it up a little bit? I had a client that owned a mortgage company, and he and his wife decided to homeschool their children so that they could travel the world. And so every summer, for like 8 weeks, sometimes 10 weeks, depending on where they were going, they would just travel around the world with their children and they'd homeschool their children on the fly. Because school is about routine, and it's about creating soldiers, it's not about education. We put our children through school. School was invented to provide babysitting for parents so that they could work. So you have to kind of start to consider some of these bigger picture concepts so that you can begin to design your life in a way that works for you, rather than you fitting you into some system out there that you don't even like, right? So if you don't like the system, why are you trying to squeeze yourself into the system? It's like putting a round peg into a square hole. And basically, so if your thinking isn't producing the results you want, then why do you keep thinking that? It's because you're just not aware until now, and now you're aware. Right? Because there's no lack of anything on the planet unless you buy into that. So this is you. So what else did you learn from that? Christian, what did you learn from that exercise?
Well, I preach. I know I'm able to do it. It's observation, make a change.
Right. Choose it. So here's the deal. So there's basically only 2 concepts in the world. There's choice and there's observation. There's choice and there's observation. So when we're not happy, or when we're stuck, or when we're not able to get traction on our goals, or create the results we want to create, we're basically observing things as they are, right? So we can look at any part of our lives and we can find what doesn't work about our life, right? So that's observation. Observation keeps things the way they are. And so if you really want things to change, you have to choose to change them. So if let's say there's something that doesn't work, whatever look at your paper, whatever you wrote down and said your limiting belief was, that's an observation. To create new, you need to make a choice to make things different. And start talking about things the way you want them to be, not the way they are. Because as long as you keep talking about things the way they are, they'll continue to be that in the future. So you make a choice to be different. Yeah?
Isn't that the benefit of having a mantra or affirmations?
Yeah. As long as you're languaging them in an open way. So asking yourself loftier questions. So you can ask yourself lots of questions about why your life doesn't work. How come my life doesn't work? How come my husband isn't the way I want him to be? How come my wife isn't the way I want him to be? How come I don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend? How come I don't have enough money? How come I don't have enough freedom? How come I don't have enough time? How come I'm not happy? How come my body doesn't look like hers or his? Or how come I don't drive what they do or live where they are? So you could ask those kinds of questions and never run out of those questions. The thing is that the more you ask those questions, the more you propagate and create that system of thinking. So you gotta ask yourself higher questions. So you might ask yourself, how come I am just so good at sales? Like that's the opposite of I can't sell. How come I have so much time that I just like, don't know what to do with myself now because I have so much time? How come I have so much money that all my needs are met, all my wants are covered, and I have a surplus left over to help others? How come the people in my office are so good at getting their work done and doing it the way I ask them that now I can just step into a higher role? How come my body is so fit and so strong and so vibrant and so youthful that I just run circles around people that are 20 years younger than me? How come my friends and my family are so supportive and so loving that they always have my back and they're always there for me? In fact, they're lifting me up. Those are the kind of questions you need to ask yourself. Because those are the questions that you will step into the results of by asking those questions. And it's so contrary to our programming that you've got to do it relentlessly in order to shift it. Yeah.
So we ask ourselves those questions in order to envision having that.
Yes. Absolutely. You got it.
Because there's like unlocking myself in a way. But it's not that, I'm just looking at it positively.
Yeah, so because it goes against the grain of your programming. We get programmed and conditioned to accept things and to accept old generational and cultural codes. Like, I'm Latino, therefore, I see a lot of this in the news on Facebook. Like there's this whole, it's happened in every culture. It's not just, one culture. Every culture has a tendency to do it. Well, I'm Latino, therefore, da 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 da. Or I'm African American, therefore, da 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 da. Or, I'm Jewish, therefore, da 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 da. Or I'm, a girl, therefore, da 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 da. And whatever those patterns are that are attached to that. So, like for instance, like I could say, okay, like I'm a female, right? Therefore, I'm a girl, so I'm a female. So, if I wanted to buy into this idea that what that means is, therefore, I can't have as much money as men, because men get paid more and make more. So there could be all of these, so the overlay pattern is I'm a female, therefore I'm less than, or I'm a minority, or I'm underprivileged in some fashion. Therefore, I have to work harder, do more, strive more, effort more in order to get my piece of the pie. So we could all run that scenario. And what's attached to that is like all these other patterns and energy blocks that get played out in our life. And it's a lie. It's just a program. And it's like a computer virus that runs in the background. And it just keeps running. And it's like, you need to defrag. You've got to defrag. So it's going to feel foreign in the beginning, especially if it's a gender code, a cultural code, a religious code, a race code. You know, it's like where you're from, a geography code. You know, it's these old sort of caste system concepts that came out of former cultures and times and space in humanity that you have to choose to sever the tie on. This is your opportunity. These challenges are opportunities. Like, when are you going to stop waving the victim banner because of your culture, your race, your gender, your geography, your yada 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 yada? You know what I'm saying to you? At the end of the day, we're all one. The packaging is different. And so what limiting beliefs are you running around your packaging? Basically. That doesn't serve you anymore. But get over it. Get over your story. And then you'll allow in greater goodness. This is your story that's so, what does that greater goodness look like? Like, what luxury do you want to encircle yourself with? And what limiting belief do you have that's contrary to that luxury? That's what you want to ask yourself. What does that look like? So when you look at these pictures, when you look at luxury and you feel bad, then you know that you've got a limiting belief around it. So when I used to do repatterning work with individuals, I had, kept all these lists of what people's limiting beliefs were. Like, money doesn't grow on trees, I can't be, do, or have that, or someone else is more talented, or, I'm just too old, it's just too late in my life, I don't have enough time, like all of these limiting beliefs, and basically they were just blocks, they were just energy blocks that were keeping that client from shifting through. And when you release the blocks, when you consistently connect to source, and it releases the blocks, by connecting to source, it releases the blocks. I had a conversation the other day. Oh my God, this was so awesome. So the other day I called up this woman that had approached me about 3 months ago and said, I'm from this culture, and my people don't like to drive to downtown LA. So if I organized a group of people, would you come to Orange County and teach a class in NLP? I'm like, sure. Put together enough people, I'll go anywhere. And so I was doing a follow-up call with her yesterday, or the day before, and so listen to the tone of the dialogue. So she said to me, the reason I haven't returned your call is because I'm on vacation, because I'm trying to get pregnant, and I need to relax. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so good. So I'm like, oh, okay. So and she goes, so that's why I haven't returned your call. But since I have you on the phone, could I offer you some criticism? And I'm like, oh God, here we go. So on some level, now I'm seeing why she's not able to get pregnant, because she's so busy criticizing herself that this is, here I show up and it's an opportunity for her to project that criticism. So I immediately knew it had nothing to do with me. And I thought, well, for entertainment purposes, we'll let this play out and then we'll know what her limiting belief is. So she went on to criticize my picture and how I really needed to get a professional photographer because my picture made me look da 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 da. And I'm like, and so she goes, so would you like the name of the photographer and his number now? And I said, well, how much of this is a projection of how you really feel about yourself? That's what I said. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, how much of this, of what you're saying to me, is really how you feel about yourself? She goes, well, you know what, if you want me to give you the number now, you can just text me and I'll send it to you. And I said to her, I said, well, if you could, right now, choose to love yourself, how would that open up the potential for you to create more life inside of you? And that would show up as a baby. I know it sucks talking because I'm all about the truth, right? And so think about that. So when you see stuff like this, and you say to yourself, I don't even like that car. What is that beauty? Where's that beauty?
I have a question. Are you saying that anytime you dislike something, it means there's something wrong with you? You have to like anything?
No, I'm saying when it comes with a negative emotion.
Okay. I
Then
see what you're saying. When you're detaching, like you can just not be interested in something, but it doesn't have to be negative.
but if there's a negative emotion attached to that disinterest,
That's fine.
that's fine. Right? And so, because I'm not an advocate for that you need to have materialism in order to be successful. And this is an ego thing that a lot of trainers will teach, is that, you know, if you don't want this thing, there's something wrong with you. And that's not where I'm coming from. Where I'm coming from, though, is that when you see things that you could enjoy, but you dislike it or discount it or diminish it because, and you're attaching a negative emotion to that process, then there's something, there's a block.
Am I supposed to like
That's what I just said was contrary to that question.
So
Right?
does that come out in forms of jealousy?
Yes.
Those things manifest in this form towards people
Right.
who have achieved or
Only rich people, you know, rich people come by dishonestly, rich people are crooks. It's easy for them, they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, like whatever, yeah. Health. So health, your wealth is in your health, right? If you don't have your health, how can you go about being of wealth? Because wealth, health, vibrancy, joy is high levels of health. You can't be in joy if you're in pain, right? So your health is in your wealth, and your wealth is in your health. So when people say to me, I can't afford this class, or I can't afford the time to come to this class, or I can't afford to eat healthy or buy organic, then I say to them, so where are you blocking the flow? Right? Because that's a vibration. We have, our unconscious mind has a set of prime directives. And one of those prime directives is to seek the path of least resistance. And I'm going to go into that in extensive detail after lunch. Because it's the path of least resistance that enables us to receive exponentially with no effort. Now, so this concept of I get paid for being me is coming from a place of really high self-worth. different, sales cultures rarely read this because most sales cultures motivate from one of two places. The ego of having, like if you have this stuff, then you're successful. That's the ego. That's not true. You can be successful without having a $100,000 car. It's about how you define success, right? So, and most people, because I'm going to teach you this afternoon about manifesting from different frequencies. So the ego can manifest money. People can be very wealthy from an egoic place. Like it's the ego that creates the money, which basically is coming from a lower vibration. So we can make money at all different frequencies. And like for instance, say the jewel thief, the art thief that steals the really high-end stuff, is a high frequency. Or sorry, it's a low frequency of acquiring money. But it's a higher frequency than robbing a bank. There's various, right? So we can create money from lower frequency, which is where the ego comes in and says, I'm hot shit because I have all this money and I'm better than you. That's an egoic way of creating money. And then there's higher frequencies of I get paid for being me. And all I have to do is be my most authentic, loving self and just bring that into the world and become a giver. Because then when you give, then more it's like a flow, it's like a river, right? So there's different frequencies of creating money from, and I'll go through that with you this afternoon so that you can understand the difference. Because what ends up happening is this. As you raise the bar on your vibration, as you raise the bar on your frequency, making money through the lower frequencies becomes harder and harder. Because once you start to understand that money is just energy, and there's no time involved to the acquisition of money, that it's just energy, then you start to attract it into your environment through your relationships and your connections. And you'll meet people that you would never have crossed your path previously in a lower vibrational energy. So this is how the rich get richer and the poor, because they expect you. Yeah? So when you expect to slog it out in order to eat by, then guess what you get? Slog it out to eat by. So the thing is that as you step beyond that vibrational need, the slogging becomes more and more comfortable. Right? And then we need to, just like I gave the example of me changing up my life routine in order to expose myself to more social environments, we need to up our routine of how we engage with people, even in the art of sales. Like the art of sales is so different than what it ever was in the past. But humanity is very different. And our ideas of what we have to do to achieve what we want to achieve have shifted dramatically. And the people that are holding on to those old, lower vibrational, egoic, push, make it happen, it's like power over people. It's like those people are going to find themselves, if they're not already, in tremendous pain. Because we're all being called up to a higher level of vibration. So it's about putting every area of your life into alignment with that higher vibration. And when you don't, then the area of your life that you're not putting into that higher vibration is going to be uncomfortable. So this is the beauty of your soul, just presenting to you on a silver platter that which you're out of alignment with. So you just connect to source and you just let it go. Just dissolve it. It's really simple. So, in the process of doing this with individuals, there's entire companies that are present here, right? Alan, Leonard, when you're here and you bring your whole company, what you're doing is you're consciously creating an entire organization of people that function on a higher level. And that, ripple effect of that, is creates a more conscious business community. Because every person has an impact on 250 people. So this afternoon I'll get into these higher frequencies of creativity. So again, time is it's a man-made process, and certainly it's useful to a certain degree. But this whole thing of busy and never enough time is a neurology. It's a neurology. It's like it gets installed in your circuitry. And then you become it. And it's the biggest expression of scarcity and lack there is. So whether it's oil, gas, money, water, time, it's a scarcity.
We have a nice client that we really like, but she has that time pressure. Should we just try to change our own attitude towards her or try to help her?
Yes,
What?
yes, yeah.
Actually address it?
No, I would change the programming unconsciously, and I can show you how to do that. So, there's ways of shifting people on the fly that you're dealing with. We all have those kinds of clients and situations where they're outside of us, but we have to deal with them. So at some level, they're an extension of us. So, and at some level, they're not, And it's like, how do we deal with that? How do we shift that? We have to, the way to shift that is to understand how to read their body language, understand how to read their where their decision making and their strategy processes in their mind, and then you shift them conversationally. And it's part of
Would that have to, I would think it also has to do with, there's it's understandable. Be able to shift that, be able to transmit or get to the source.
Yeah, well, the thing is that, and again, I don't have time to go into it today. If come in September, when I teach the NLP training, and I'll teach you how to shift other people on the fly. Because it's about, it's like we all have perceptions of things, right? So when you're dealing with another person, your job is to read them and understand how they process information so that you can help them shift their perceptions. And so there's a rapport building process that happens non-verbally. And you go through this non-verbal rapport building process, and they will start to model you when you've built up enough rapport. And so if you're going for the close too soon, or if there's any kind of resistance from the client, whether it's time, money, or whatever, it's an indication that you haven't built enough rapport, and you need to learn to build rapport. So what you do is you back up, you build more rapport, and then you go back in for the close. And yeah, it's part of the NLP training. So time for yourself, again, it's like this. It's all perception. So when you're dealing with yourself, you change your perception of the time, and you can literally make time stand still. You can elongate time. And because it comes from the inside. It's an internal relationship to how you manipulate the universe, basically. And we all have the ability to manipulate the universe, because the universe is malleable to our thoughts. The universe always succumbs to our beliefs and our thoughts. Asking is given. Peace. So make peace with where you are right here, right now. So when a client comes to me and says, I want to be here because I don't like where I am, the first thing I do is I get them to come to be at peace with where they are. Because I can't rewire something that you're at odds with. Because what I'd have to do first is rewire you being at odds with yourself. So let's say a client comes to you and says, I have a goal, right? I don't like where I am now. So they're in pain. Anytime you don't like where you are, and you think that this is going to fix where you are, it's not true. Acquiring more material is not going to make you happy. It's going to be miserably rough. Right? So the thing is that you've got to make peace with where you are. And this is the breakthrough moment, because that's when you get to make a new choice. So if you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, in all honesty, I don't like my life. This is what I don't like. And then you say, I don't like it, and I created it. Then you make peace with it. But if you look at your life and you don't like it, and you say it's somebody else's fault, my boss, my coworker, my husband, my wife, my job, my car, my t-shirt, whatever, then you totally have no power over changing. You've got to make peace with where you are. I've heard this a lot from working with clients, is they'll say to me, my life sucks, and I don't understand why this is happening to me, because this isn't me. It's like, well, that's the first step. The first step is for you to acknowledge that this is not happening to you, it's happening through you, as a product of how you talk to yourself, and the emotion that's stirring up in you. When you get to that place, then we have something to work with. If you can't get to that place, then we need to rewire your self-worth. So there's a self-worth trigger somewhere. And in my experience in the last 20 years of doing this work, 99.9% of the time, the issue is low self-worth. At some point in the core of the issue, the individual does not feel worthy, which is a whole other workshop. but, you know, we're just getting rolling here, right? So, make peace with where you're at and the current environment, circumstances that you find yourself in, and just go, okay, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is because that's what I used to believe. And now I choose to create a new reality. Because if you don't have what you want in your life, at some level, you haven't yet decided to change it. If your life doesn't look the way you want it to look, at some level you have not, you're not sick and tired enough of your circumstances. At some level you like it that way. And you know, sometimes there's a secondary gain where you just like, we leave it that way so we have something to feel bad about. Or we leave it that way because then we you know, have something to complain about. Or we like being a victim. Or maybe it's because we align with our families. And when we go home at the end of the day, or we go to family events or family reunions or you know, whatever it is, wherever you're doing it, you know, from depending on what culture you're in, from you know, Shabbat to the weekend in the park with your family, you've got something to complain and align with other people with. It's like, yeah, you know, let's get together and complain about what doesn't work in our life. There's like a camaraderie. Commiseration is a camaraderie. So, at some, you know, or the other reason your life isn't the way you want it to look is because you've got some limiting belief or judgment that you bought, sold, accepted, aligned with, or resisted that's running in that. So you can choose to make it different, and then when you make that choice, you need to defrag the virus. So maybe then you won't have so much in common with your uncle or your aunt or your buddies you can cope with or whatever you do. Or your husband or your wife, or maybe, you know, I had this conversation about a year ago with my daughter, and maybe about a year and a half ago. And we were in her kitchen and we were having a conversation about our family. And I said to her, I said, okay, I'll tell you what, let's make a pact that we'll give ourselves this last time together to complain about the dysfunction in our family. We'll talk about the new family environment we're creating, the new family psychology, the new family psychology that you and I are designing. And she's like, so that's it. There's no more. And there's a lot we could talk about. But why? What's the point? We've already beat that to death. You know, it's like going through life with a dead horse stapled to your leg. Can you imagine that? Like, what a drag. Would that slow you down? Yeah, totally. Like I said, let's have more higher vibrational discussions. And just keep each other accountable to that. So what'll end up happening, I'm going to warn you right now, there's going to be people in your life that aren't going to like it. You know? And I remember when I started going through this change process, that, you know, my family thought I was like certified and crazy. They really seriously thought I needed to go see a because I made the mistake of wanting them to shift with me. So this may be your office, you know, companies are families too. Right? Move your body. The more we are hardwired to move. We are designed to move. So to live a sedentary life is contrary to our design. The baseline is 10,000 steps a day. So if you want to pull out your cell phone and Google how many miles that is, that's how much movement you need to do a day. Because when you move your body, you repattern your mind. Yeah, when you move your body, you repattern your mind. Just like how many 10,000 steps a day is the baseline, and what that turns into in miles. So you can run it, you can walk it, you can stair step it. Well, it's a different dynamic, you know, it's like there's more connectivity, people are generally leaner, healthier, more vibrant, you know, probably less engaged in television, probably less medicated by TV, less medicated by the computer or their phone. But yeah. 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 So, all right, well, let's break it. What's the time? 1:11. Perfect. So we'll come back at, let's come back at 2:30. If that's